Stop it right there. One of these grainy specks is about to make a play that's going to change the course of this game. But before that, I think we need to look at who's on the field, why they're there, and how they got here.
Yeah.
It all starts on the 21st of October 2016. Let's look at the players who are important, they're not currently on the field during this play. Quarterback Calvin Stitt is the starting quarterback for Bristol Pride. Son of former NFL player and current European Hall of Famer Anthony Stitt, he is a mobile, athletic quarterback who was easily averaging 2+ touchdowns a game, combined with over 150 to 200 yards, and along with a lot of yards on the ground. This was Calvin's first year at Bristol Pride, coming from Artesia High School in California. Currently he has scored 15 touchdowns, but later in the season grew to 29. He then later signed with the Copenhagen Towers after a short stay in Germany with the Comets. Next we have a player that was causing all sorts of problems to the Bristol attack, recovering a fumble early in the game to really swing the tempo France's way. Max Micheli was a serious threat on the outside as well as in the middle linebacker position, a secure tackler and an obvious nose for the ball. He is now on a mission to become the buffest man in the universe. This man, lining up at end, is possibly one of the most important players up to this point. Having scored a long touchdown run earlier in the game, thanks to some great blocking by the O-line, some unbelievable footwork and breakaway speed, Tappy was able to get Bristol back into it. You may be asking, why is he lined up at end? He's a running back. Well, that was all down to Bristol game plan. Quite often lining up a speed player opposite a power player to confuse the O-line, make them move around more, because the French O-line were prone to cut blocking. Tappy was instrumental to Bristol's success, not only in this game but overall through the years he played. Naturally gifted with speed and power, he too played on the Comets with Calvin. Now Bristol were extremely talented, with 2 of their players going Division 1, who we'll get to later, 20+ players who were capped internationally, GFL players, Division 3 players and multiple UK scholarships. But that doesn't mean France weren't slacking. France went on to win the Under-19 championships with this team, and many of these players now represent France on the higher levels. During this game we were met with a possible D1 matchup between Eric
Carl Edward Senior Schuster
and Junior Ayo. Both players are outstanding European athletes. Junior is a JUCO first team all conference, and Eric has spent the last couple of years at West Virginia. Being the captain, Eric played both offense and defense in this game and for much of his career. Starring at the offensive guard position, also moving to tackle at some times. He also played in the defensive tackle position as well, and that is exactly where he's lined up right before this play happens. Often regarded as the best player on a great team, Eric is definitely a great leader and an all-star level caliber player. He is truly the greatest I've ever seen in person. Now Junior is a different kind of gravy. He is obviously not born the same as other people. He is massive, he is wham, he is still young, but he was younger in this game. This game was 3 years ago. He's not quite matured into the player he is now, starring in New Mexico. He will be going D1 very soon, but right at this point he hadn't developed those skills to get past players like Will Bunt, Gary Hunter, Chris Synergy, all GB Men's International capped players. However, this didn't stop him from utterly dominating at some points in the game, showing up on the highlight reels and definitely making an impact on the game. 2 more players that are currently on the field are Leon and Antonio Costa. 2 players that are instrumental to the defense that completely locks down everything, especially Leon, registering well over 10 tackles on his birthday of all days, completely shutting down the France attack. Without him, there is no doubt that this game would have gone different. Of course, this could be said about multiple players on both France and Bristol that I won't have time to name, but with Leon, I generally mean it. I generally think they would have lost if it wasn't for him. Over the last decade, Benjamin Herod has carried Pride and grown Pride like it's his own. It's clearly a project that he has risen from the ground and has turned into a European powerhouse. He's taken on multiple national teams and he even had a 7-year undefeated streak against university opposition before sadly coming to an end in 2017. Coach Ben is a defensive-minded coach, learning from his friends in Laverne College in LA. He managed to strangle the jet sweeps that France is so famous for in every single level of competition. His counterpart is a man called Emmanuel Macron. Now he has been a pioneer for French football. He has been a coach for the under-19 leagues for years, and he has really helped them grow into the European powerhouse they are today. He has been credited with helping players like Junior and Clement Chevalier for the French under-19 teams, as well as Kev Fortes, another standout, and many others, just to name a few. Let's get back to the playing question. On the left for Bristol Pride we have current captain Eddie Onamade. He is a future GFL player, also a future GB senior player. Through 7 games this season he has registered 6 interceptions, 35 tackles, 9 passes defensed and 2 forced fumbles. Together with Nathan Willis, Cam Birkinshaw and Alex Nagunja, they have formed one of the best secondaries in the entire of Europe. Opposite him we have the man called Hassan Dossor, recently committed to Shirebrook University in Canada, but at this point he was just trying to get himself on the field, and he did this a lot this game, consistently coming out of the wing-back position as well as finding space in the opening field as a wide receiver. Alright, I think we've all heard enough of me. Let's see what happens.